Whenever there's big sort of gaps or breaks where I am not doing so many videos, and which is coming up since it's going to be Christmas, I'm hopefully going to have a couple weeks where I have pre-scheduled videos kind of running on autopilot. I like to be able to have some time to be able to make some changes to my setup or to kind of change how things look. And unfortunately, I've already started some of this progress due to some Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff and a whole separate monitor roulette video that should have already gone up by now. But before I make major drastic like ergonomic changes to how everything is laid out in a setup, I like to take some time to actually document how things are running now, show you guys what I'm working with and what the desk or workspace setup looks like. And that's what we're doing in today's video. This will be a desk and kind of gadget tour of what I have going on and how I work. And I can do a upstairs studio tour, not tutorial, at a later date. But I kind of wanted to show what things look like in Q4 2018, right at the end of 2018, before I make some big changes for what I'm hoping to turn into something really cool for 2019. So you're used to seeing this angle from the desk for my tutorials and things like that, but let's do a 180 and check the other side.
The Mod Mic Wireless can boldly go where no mic has gone before. This microphone can attach to any headphones, requires no additional wires, features very low latency, a dual capsule microphone, 12-hour battery life, and LED indicators on the receiver so you know when you're muted and or when the battery is running low. And you can basically run your entire house without ever losing a signal. What more could you ask for? Learn more by clicking the link in the video description.
And here is the desk setup for what I'm calling Megadesk 3.0. I'm aware it's kind of a cringy name, but it's based off of the Dwight and Jim Office joke a while back. So this is my half. Wife's over there playing Dragon Age. And this is what I've been working with for... Say hi. This is what I've been working with for all of that's not true. The second half of 2018, since May. We finished building this based on the expansion that we had in the O department, and it has been a major upgrade to my workflow on the whole. And you can probably tell that just by the number of monitors, although we're down one. I'll touch on that in a minute. And I am filming this with my 6D Mark II. I did say I would stop using this for video, but the stabilization is kind of necessary here at the moment because of the G7. I always get complaints when I shoot it handheld. So from a wide view, this is what you might see in the background of a couple different videos. We have little things for aesthetic purposes like Crash Bandicoot up there, the Epos Vox sign from Explorographer, that little Lumetric Time which has the YouTube subscriber count, which is not at all worth the money, YouTube play button, some Instax, little Polaroid pictures. I want more of them printed out. I just haven't opened my second pack yet. We have shelves all around our living room office with video games and some of my figures and collectibles and things like that. All on them. Kind of nice. And then some extra sound panels that I had that I just wanted to get out of the way and add a little bit of more wall filling, and it actually helps with the reverb in here since it's such a big room. Got Netscape Navigator 3.0 up there, some books and magazines and stuff that I'm working with. The huge. So since that's what most people probably care about, let's start with the production setup, because now with this new bigger desk I'm actually able to have a separate production and gaming setup, and actually technically two gaming setups there, which is pretty neat. But for the production setup we have a lovely orange cat in a chair. This is the chair that I've been using since 2016. It is the Alera Illusion. It's from Amazon. It's about $100, $120. The best chair that I have owned for office production work ever. Like, I've had quite a few from Staples and Office Depot, and I actually have a gaming chair up in my retro gaming room. But this thing is the best in terms of my actual back support and actually keeping me comfy, because those gaming chairs usually don't do it. Now, this is not completely sanitized in terms of cable management or anything like that. I don't believe in that. I want to show you how I work in it, even if I tidied it up just a little bit. But I am constantly moving and changing pieces out. So yeah, there's a big old spaghetti monster down there, but if there wasn't, then my life would be 10 times harder due to I built a desk with everything nicely and neatly cable managed, and then within like the first 3 months it was already hell trying to swap things out. So under the desk we have my main production computer, which I built in January of this year. I call it Trunks because it originally had some purple theming going on before I changed motherboards and my RGB strip became unusable with this. It's currently in a Phanteks Inthu Pro M case, nice tempered glass and RGB. It was the first, YouTuber RGB build that I've done. However, it's pretty loud as is. I don't have a big enough cooler for the processor, and I'm not satisfied with it, even though I did give it a nice little USB-C mod on the front panel. I'm just not happy with it, so I'm actually switching to a more silence-oriented case. It's what I've always gone with prior to this build, but that will be in 2019. It's an Intel Core i9 7980XE. I've got 64 gigs of Corsair Vengeance memory, no RGB memory, a generic 240mm AIO. I need like a 360 on it. I've got a NVIDIA GTX 1080, a Magewell 4K PCIe capture card in there, a Blackmagic 4K PCIe capture card, Intel 750 series NVMe SSD, a Mellanox 10 gigabit network interface, and a 1000 watt power supply, and a Blu-ray drive, because I do actually use optical media, believe it or not. Got one of those IKEA wire baskets for all of my power bricks, or most of my power bricks under there. Pretty nice, and then you'll see actually quite a bit mounted up under here under the desk. This is kind of interesting to film. It's one of those hum destroyers for audio connections. Since I have a bunch of computers connected together, there's some high frequency bleed. There's quite a few littered throughout that cable basket, as I have 3 computers connected to my mixer, so I need to clear out that audio. I have a single card reader mounted up here that I actually use for, where is it? CF cards, and actually like original CF cards. This is from a camera from the 90s. And then I used to have my Lexar HR2 hub, which is a big multi-card reader hub, mounted under here on those hooks. I had it dangling from there, but it was just too far behind the desk, so it wasn't worth it. But then I also have, this is a Behringer headphone amp, which has been super handy because usually I'm testing like multiple pairs of headphones. So I'll have them all hung here on these 3D printed headphone hangers that have been rock solid from LaserLord. And then I can switch between them really quickly and maintain the volume for them and run to I have a Audio-Technica headset under there. It makes it super easy to manage all of that. Then we have my old audio rack, which has a couple channel strips, a preamp, and a power conditioner. And then I just added a shelf because I want to move my mixer back to it, as my cats keep jumping on it on the desk as is, and the cable management's kind of weird, so I'm hoping to move it back under here. My epic trashy Windows 2000s, or early 2000s Windows XP computer, and then my gaming computer, Jarvis, which I actually just showed off in a recent video. Just upgraded it to ridiculous RGB levels. So that is running an 8700K and an RTX 2080 at the moment. 16 gigs of RAM. And then over here, I have a 2009-ish Mac Pro. Doesn't run modern Mac OS or anything like that. Got it earlier in the year to experiment with for a video. On the desk, since this is supposed to be a tour of the desk, back here behind everything is that mixer I referred to, the Soundcraft Soundcraft Signature 12 Multitrack MTK12 something or another. I've referenced it quite a few times. It's a beautiful mixer. It's quite expensive, but the benefit of this over the other mixers that people usually talk about is this one actually has multi-track support over audio. So every stereo pair is accessible as a separate device in Windows. Really cool. In terms of desk gadgets, I have a ridiculous amount at the moment, and I honestly don't have enough space for them, which is why I'm hoping moving the mixer off the desk will kind of free up some of the desk space. Because I have my keyboard, which at the moment is the WASD keyboards. It's just a custom V2. Some of the keycaps are finally starting to wear out. Unlike normal keycaps, which shine after a while, these don't shine at all, but eventually you see that shiny bit. Eventually they do, like the plastic itself just like chunks away. So I have new keycaps waiting on it. I was using a Genovation keyboard with backlighting, as backlighting actually helps my eyes down here with the macro keys up there. But they were MX Black switches, which are linear switches, and they were really hurting my hands and my wrists and my joints. MX Blues are the way to go for me. But I do have a Genovation macro pad here, which I use for all of my Premiere Pro effect presets and things like that, which I have programmed with AutoHotkey thanks to mostly Terran's work with his scripting. Then of course the Elgato Stream Deck, which I mainly use as a program launcher slash custom script launcher at the moment. I've got the Palette Gear, which can control Premiere Pro things and hopefully resolve soon. Loupedeck Plus, which helps me color photographs in Lightroom and Premiere. And then that Ripple Tangent, which is hopefully going to help me get better at color grading in Resolve. I do not use that much yet. I actually just hooked it back up so I can try using it again because I suck at color and I need to learn. But I use most of this on a near daily basis, if not multiple times per day. And then my mouse of choice is still the Logitech MX Master 2S, even if I have shined the crap out of those mouse keys and I've started like melting the plastic on the palm part. It's hard to show on camera, but my hands must just leak acid because I just like destroy mice. But I use it daily, and I do eat at my desk. So while I try to keep it not greasy, eventually it does melt stuff. But that's not just grease like sitting on there, that's just the plastic being worn down. Above the monitors, before we get to them, I have a Panasonic Lumix G7, my second one, mounted up here as a webcam. I have a wall mount for it. I forgot the brand. It's from like, you can't even see it there. I'll have an Amazon link in the video description. I've used this at 2 apartments now. It's a rock solid wall mount to use it as a webcam, and then I have it fed into a Blackmagic mini recorder Decklink 4K. Their names are ridiculous, but that way, if I wanted to, which I did for the intro of this video, I could pull up here Blackmagic Media Express capture software and capture in completely uncompressed 10-bit video, which is for that 1 minute or 1.5 minute intro, it was 100 gigs. It was ridiculous, but it can also loop into OBS and not have some of the USB issues that I run into with the Elgato Cam Link, and it has a little bit less delay, things like that. And then with it, since the G7 has a bottom-mounted SD card slot, because sometimes I record in camera too, I have one of these SD card extenders, which just has a ribbon cable that runs out. And then I mounted the output here on the top of my monitor, which is a little Velcro. So I can just pull the SD card out right here. It's not dangling anymore, just ready to go when I need it. Super nice. So as far as monitors go, this is in the Dell UP2718Q, which is one of their professional monitor series. It is really neat. I just upgraded to it. If you haven't seen my monitor roulette videos, do check those out because it's been quite the adventure. I was originally using an LG 31MU97, which was 31 inches instead of 27, and it was 4096 by 2160 instead of normal UHD. It was great, and it was supposed to be my side monitor when I upgraded, and then it died, and it's out of warranty. So hopefully I can maybe hook up with Wendell and we can try to fix it. It requires resetting a ROM chip or something that I can't do here, so we shall see. But this thing is a beast of a monitor, and it supports HDR in a way that doesn't make Windows unusable, which is really cool, and I'll show off in the future. This other monitor here is the LG 27 UD68, which is just a normal 4K panel. I picked it up to test the Elgato 4K60 Pro with my PS4 Pro earlier this year or last year, I don't remember now. I guess it was last year. Great monitor if you're just getting into 4K desktop stuff or gaming or production. It has FreeSync built in, only 60 Hertz, but it is obviously, since it's a consumer monitor, much more blue than this monitor, which is really jarring and hard to get used to. And I actually sent a review request to Dell to see if they will, if I'm already promoting this, if they'll send me another one to match it, because this is just ridiculous. Up here I have a BenQ screen bar, which it's not going to focus on. It's kind of useful. They sent me this for review. It shines light down here, which I do actually make use of. Again, I mentioned I have light eye strain issues, so since I don't have a keyboard backlight, I do use it when I'm taking notes or trying to keep track of stuff over here. That's kind of useful. And if it's in the background of a video, just kind of adds a more interesting element when all the lights are off. So that's pretty cool. And then I keep my Logitech Brio up here just to remember that I have it, so I can cover it from time to time because it changes. And then up here, I have that FlexStar, I believe that's what it's called, or a LinkStar Rolleiflex LED panel. I've just mounted some diffusion material to it, and it is my key light for my webcam. Way better than the little LED panel I was using before. Looks freaking great. It fits Crash Bandicoot in it, and it has very much improved my camera setup. I just wish it had a remote. I have to reach under the desk and mess with it. It's kind of obnoxious, but it works. And then my speakers of choice for the past year and a half now have been the Mackie CR3. These are studio monitors. They're not like super professional, but they're definitely an upgrade over normal desktop speakers, and they do not require a subwoofer to produce the amount of bass that I want, which isn't a ton since I do live in an apartment complex. The only problem is, this week they've started dying. It's almost as if all of my tech just wants to die at once, in that I will power them on, and only audio will come out of the left speaker. And it's not connections. I've checked that a million times. It's not the connections. The connections are sending both channels. I can switch the cables back and forth, and it works. And if I press on the switch switching them between like right and left, if I push on it hard enough, it starts producing sound, and then half the time if I power cycle it, it'll produce sound. So something's shorting out, or a capacitor messed up in there or something, so I've got to get that fixed. It is still under warranty. They have like a 3-year warranty, so I'm going to have to send them in, if nothing else, because I use those every day. And then we have that Lexar HR2 hub that I mentioned. I'm pretty boring. I just have 3 SD card readers in it, and then an SSD, which is a backup of my photo archive. But I use multiple SD cards on every shoot for audio and video and things like that. So it's super handy being able to plug them in all at once. And then we've got some miscellaneous office supplies and things over there. Moving along behind this monitor, I have my laptop collection at the moment, as well as those keycaps I mentioned. I've got my EVGA gaming laptop, my System 76 Lemur, and then my 2013 MacBook. Then I have my desk CRT. This isn't a super fancy one, but it's definitely higher end than anything I had back in the 90s, early 2000s. It's an Impressions 200VX. Never heard of the brand before, can't find anything about them. It's about a 96 to 100 kilohertz bandwidth, so I can go up to like basically 1440p but in 4x3, or it can do 100 hertz at like 1280 or 1024 by 768. Does some really good stuff for my Windows XP gaming, and then I can swap out. I have a little SSD switch that I use to boot it into Windows 8 to do mini DV tape capturing, which I will cover in the future. And then the last station in the setup here is my gaming setup, which is using that BenQ XL2730. It's a 144 hertz 1440p panel. Elgato paid for this for me to review their Elgato 4K60. For the 4K60 Pro to do videos about 144 hertz on it. It is super, actually I think it might be discontinued now, but it was $500 for no G-Sync, no FreeSync, nothing, no bells and whistles, and it's honestly not all that great. So I definitely don't recommend it. I wouldn't have bought it with my own money by any stretch. And then I'm using a Black Widow Tournament Edition Razer gaming keyboard just because it had some cool Overwatch profiles, but the plastic keycaps feel super cheap, and sometimes the RGB profile just messes up. Like, that's supposed to be a wave right now, but it's just kind of stuck. That happens. And then Logitech G502 gaming mouse. My wife and I both use them, have used them since 2014. Best mouse ever. You do have to replace them sometimes, but freaking awesome gaming mouse. Then I have a basic gigabit switch over here to run to my different computers down here and out to my gaming setup over there. And then I do have a VHS DVD combo jack. This is an upscaler unit that will let me capture VHS tapes, and I have a whole video on that coming soon. I've been promising that for like 2 years, but I promise it's coming. Now I picked up this really cool monitor arm that was on sale on Newegg for Black Friday. I recommended it to a buddy for his gaming setup as well. It's like the super expensive professional monitor mounts that you would see in like offices and stuff, but it was like $40. And the point was to get this to then mount my other LG monitor so I could finally monitor OBS while I'm doing stuff on the gaming computer and things like that. It's awfully lonely right now since my other monitor died and I'm kind of stuck without it. That was my only other VESA mountable monitor, so that sucks until I get it figured out. But yeah, this is the desk. I keep everything covered in desk mats to both protect the desk and protect my hands and wrists from scratching on the MDF. This is made out of MDF and 2x6s as the frames of the legs. Half of it's painted from when we did it in a different theme for the old apartment, and then half of it's not, where I just kind of built the new add-on and mixed it up and thought it would look kind of cool as is, and I like it so far. Behind the Windows XP computer, I have a like 900 watt UPS, and then I've got another one over here for the gaming computer because the two computers together were too much for it. But this is my office desk setup for December 2019. All thanks to you guys and my 100K play button. It is pretty cool. I was really disappointed when they announced, or when they showed like they were changing from the old ones, but I actually like how this one turned out. It's a lot lighter, easier to hang on the wall, and means that they don't get destroyed in shipping so often. So, pretty freaking cool. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more tech education. Sorry it took me so long to do another follow-up of these after we moved, but that seems to be a common theme every time we have to move with this channel, so that's alright. I really like how it's turned out so far for 2018, and I'm really excited for the changes I'm making for 2019, which is why I wanted to go ahead and get started on those. So check out my other videos. I have so much going up this month just to end 2019 or 2018 rather with a bang, and I'll see you in the next one.